Have you ever noticed that in some captions for YouTube channels, it's just slightly off? You know, the word doesn't quite match up with what's being said. Well, today I'm going to show you how you can make money by helping people to fix these errors and also translate them as well, all using an AI software to make it super simple for you. So, let's get into it, shall we? Now, in order to be able to edit the subtitles, you need to download them in the first place. Now, here's the thing, if you are contacting someone out of the blue and saying that you can do some subtitles for them, they're not necessarily going to send you a subtitle file. So therefore, bear this in mind when you're thinking about this method, but basically all you would do is they would go into their YouTube, they would click on the three little dots if they don't know how to do it, and then they would download subtitles. Now, when they download the subtitles, unfortunately, it doesn't come as an SRT file, which is probably what you'll need to be able to open it and all that kind of thing in most editors. And although we're not really going to use an editor, it's good to have it as an SRT. So therefore, take the SBV file that it has, and you can go over to here to the Better Converter. You can run it through there and get yourself an SRT file. Simple as that. Now, as I said, if you are contacting these people out of the blue, which is essentially what you're going to be doing, a good way to be able to contact them is to say, hey, look, I've done this file for you already. Check it out on your YouTube channel, check out to see if you get more subscribers, if you get more from a different language or something like that, and maybe we can work together in the future. So you want to give them a taste of what you can do before you even go in there saying that this is how much I'm going to charge, that kind of thing. So if you can give something for free and prove your worth first, you're more likely to get the deal at the end of it. So that means that you can't have access to their YouTube channel to get these SRT files, which if you were doing business with them, you'd be able to get on a regular basis. So instead, what you're going to do, you're going to go over to this site here, which is download CheckSub, and you're simply going to put in the details of the video. So up comes this little bit here, and you can click on download, and then what will happen is all of the subtitles for that part of their channel or whatever that video is will be made for you, and you can simply click on here. In this case, it's an SRT file that I'm going to want, and I will just take their smallest video. So if they've got like a 2-minute video or something like that, I would take that and I would run that through this and get that video and then do this with the subtitles. Okay, now that you've got these subtitles, you've now got all in English what the subtitles are. Now, as I said, sometimes YouTube can make mistakes in this, so therefore you're going to go through and you're going to check just to make sure that everything is in place and how it should be. And if you want, you can even run it through ChatGPT, which we're going to do in a second to translate it, but you can also run it through to say, are there any spelling mistakes in this text? And then what will happen is it will come back and it will tell you where there's a spelling mistake, and then you can quickly go to that and change it. Or depending if it's a small video, which it will be when you first start out anyway, you're not going to be doing any long form content just for your little testers, so to speak, because if you were to do long form content, you'd be here for hours and you don't want to do that. So just a small tester just to show them what you can do, to show them what they get, because at the end of the day, they get a completely reformed English file and they get a form in the language that you choose. So whether it be Spanish, English, Spanish, French, or Indian, Arabic, whatever it can be, if you know that language, you can do it. Now, if you don't know that language, I'm going to give you another option, which is that you can simply put out on Fiverr that you want people to be able to do some translations. And then you can say that you're paying, $10 an hour as an example for translations. And what you do, because you've got everything already done, all they have to do is simply read it and decide if it's right or wrong. And that's it. And you can give a few tests first of all, because you don't know this person, you don't know them from Adam, so you don't know if they're actually going to read it, and you're paying them just to not do anything. So what you could do is you could throw in a few little spelling mistakes or something as a curveball for the first couple you send them, just to double check that they are really reading it. And then you send them the scripts, and you will send them all the scripts in one go. And at the end of the day, all they have to do is read it. And because it's generated by AI and it's translated by AI, the chances are that it's going to be spot on anyway. So therefore, you can get a couple of different people doing this for different languages. You send them a thing, you get 10 scripts for $10 or something like that. You're charging a lot more to your client to get them done, so therefore, or for you to be able to do it. So therefore, it actually makes you money in the long run if you get enough clients. But basically, I digress. So here's what you do: you go back to the main script, you check through just to make sure that it is all okay and that it's done in English, and we're just going to pretend that it is for now. And then all you do is you copy and paste that, and you say something in ChatGPT ChatGPT, I can never say that, like translate this text into Spanish, keeping the same format. So that's important. So therefore you would then hit the control and not control, you would hit the shift and the return button, because you don't want to obviously send that into ChatGPT just yet. And then you will control V to copy and paste all of the stuff just there. And then you simply hit return. And then what will happen is it will translate everything into Spanish, but it will keep that exact same format. So there you can see it says, Hola, soy Ryan Reynolds, dueño de Mint Mobile. So basically he's talking in Spanish now. Now I know a little bit of Spanish, but I don't know a lot, but my wife is Spanish. So now what I would do is, me personally, I don't need somebody to do the bit on Fiverr or anything like that, because all I do is I hand this over to her and I say, just read that quickly just to make sure it's okay. And that's it. Simple as that. Then all you need to do is you would send the English version and the Spanish version, and if you've got French and Arabic, Indian or whatever you've got, you will send all of those versions to the person that you're trying to get the work from. Simple as that. But now let's find out how we can find those people and how we can send them some information. Okay, so the first thing you want to do now is to create yourself some kind of email that you're going to send out to people as essentially a cold lead, because these people you're going to be contacting, they're going to be YouTubers, and you just want something that's going to grab them quickly, etc, etc. Now, one thing I will say to you is make sure you don't use if you use a Gmail account for this, which we're going to show you how to do in a moment, but make sure you have a business address for your Gmail as well. So, go into the settings, change it so that you're sending from that email, because if you send stuff out in Gmail and stuff like that, generally when I receive something like that, if it's not from a proper business address, I tend to discard it, because of the fact that there's so many scams out there that you never know. Now, admittedly, what you're doing here is it's going to be very difficult to scam them anyway, because all you're doing is sending them an SRT file, but at the end of the day, you never quite know, and people are worried about that sort of thing. So make sure it's a business address that you get. You can get that by purchasing a domain of some kind, attaching your details to it, and then obviously making your Gmail in association with that email in the first place, which you can find many tutorials for online. But I digress anyway. So I went into ChatGPT and I basically just said that I want some kind of email, but write me a cold email explaining about the subtitle service for YouTube videos. Include that subtitles can often be wrong when auto-generated, so I'll supply a set in Spanish and English that can be correct. So this is the email that's come up with for me, which I'm going to use, which is, I hope this email finds you well. I'm writing to offer a subtitle service for your YouTube videos. As you may know, subtitles can be often incorrect when auto-generated, making it difficult for your Spanish-speaking and English-speaking viewers to understand the content. Well, that's very true, and it's a true thing actually, that if you can open up your audience to a wider language, then obviously it's going to be better for you in the long run. Just an example, Mr. Beast has his own Spanish Mr. Beast channel. Now he goes the whole hog, and he has an actual voiceover on his channel of him as Mr. Beast in Spanish or what have you. But the point is that if you were to just put Spanish subtitles in that aren't auto-generated, because as I said, most of them can be absolutely rubbish, then you're onto a winner. And in this case, you are offering a manual transcription and synchronization of subtitles in Spanish and English. Well, that's kind of true. Proofreading to ensure accuracy and consistency, that's very true. And subtitle files in SRT format ready to be uploaded to your videos, which is all true. So all they have to do is take those SRT files, upload them straight to their video, and they've got whatever languages they want, and therefore they can get out to a wider audience of people by simply adding these subtitles to their videos, which is a great option for a lot of YouTubers. Now, here's the thing. Once you've got this, you need to go over to, in this case, we're going to use our Gmail. So we go over to our Gmail. Okay, so once you have got the thing generated on ChatGPT, all you need to do is copy it, paste it into a notepad and save it as an SRT file. And then that will basically be your Spanish subtitles or whatever language you've chosen to do. So then you need to upload both of those to a Google Drive of some kind. And then all you do is you copy and paste your email that you got from ChatGPT, and you use a service, in this case called Gmass. Now, Gmass is a service that works on Gmail, and it basically allows you to send the same email to multiple people, but they only receive one email each. So therefore, it's not like it's in blind copy or anything like that. They actually receive it, and you can also track all your emails. If you want to know more about that, then you can go to this link up the top here, and that will tell you more about the Gmass system, which I've been using for years and I absolutely love. But the good thing is that it gives you 50 emails for free every single day that you can send out, which means that the chances are you probably won't even need a paid account for this, and you can just use the free account all the time. Now, incidentally, once you get your emails, you put them in there and you send it out. Simple as that, by hitting the GMAS button. Now, how do you get your emails, I hear you ask? And that is the main thing. So we're going to go over now to the YouTube so we can find out. Okay, now there's several ways that you can decide how you're going to find your YouTubers. The first thing you can do is you can choose a niche. You might choose a crypto niche or a beauty niche or something like that. Something that you think that would appeal to the world, essentially. So therefore, or the country that you're trying to translate into. So that way you could say, you know, if you could get Spanish people looking at this niche because it's not very popular there, then that means that you're more likely to get more viewers to your channel. You want to try and aim for YouTubers that have probably got over 1,000 subscribers but less than 10,000 or less than 20,000. If you go to like the bigger YouTubers, the chances are that they're just going to ignore what you're writing, whereas the smaller YouTubers are willing to grow, they want to grow, and they're willing to look at other options because of the fact that the more subscribers they get, the more heads they get watching their videos, the better it is for their view count and the better it is to promote them on YouTube in general. And this is a way of doing it without, you know, like spending money on ads to promote your video, without trying to buy followers or something like that. This is something by simply changing the language on your video so that it can be seen. Even if they actually upload the SRT files onto their video and hard code it in, so that way it's not like the Spanish person has to go in and then click on the wheel, etc, etc. It gives them another option, another way of contacting another audience, which they're going to be more open to if they're a sort of smaller YouTuber but somebody who's already been monetized. If you go for somebody who hasn't been monetized before the 1,000 mark and the 4,000 watch hours, the chances are they're not going to be interested because they're going to be just trying to push their YouTube channel, the reach, to try and get there. That being said, there is a possibility with that as well, and at the end of the day, when people are contacting the smaller YouTubers, they're more likely to see it in their email and they're more likely to respond. But based on that, I've got here, this is a channel that I like, Stuff Made Here. It's got 4.17 million subscribers, so I wouldn't bother to contact this chap. However, if you look here, what we're doing here is just to show you how you would find the information that you need. So the first thing you need to do is to look in the actual section itself of the video. So click on the video itself, and then if you scroll down, you'll see that there's a lot of links there, but there's nothing there to contact them. Sometimes people have something in there about what, you know, how to contact them by email, etc, etc, and he doesn't have this. So then what you would do is you would click over to the main channel itself and you would click onto the About section. And then when you move down to the About section, well, there's a couple of things here actually. If you look here up the top, you can see you've got Twitter, you've got Discord, and you've got Instagram. So you could probably contact through either of those options if you wanted to, but if you're sending out an email blast, which I personally prefer rather than DMing people on Twitter, then that way you actually make sure that they get to see it and you can see when they've opened it and that kind of thing using the GMAS capabilities, whereas, you know, some of the other ones, they're very easy to hide, so they could see your email without actually, or your message without actually opening it, and then you would never know. Simple as that. So therefore you can see here he's got a PO box description, but also you'll see here that YouTube automatically has this for everyone, which is viewer email address. So if you click on there and then you have to say no, I'm not a robot, and you have to click submit. So therefore we put a little click in the box here and then we hit submit, and then what will happen is if there is an email address available, then it will come up with the email address. Now as you can see, this takes a little bit of time, so there you go, there is the email address there. Very you could have guessed this one, to be honest, but stuffmadehere@gmail.com. Okay, so that will be the email address that you would then put into your software to then contact them. Now that took a while to do. It did. Now you can do that if you've got time to do that. You could do that 50 times a day or whatever. Get that. You could send it off. Maybe you'll get one client from that. Maybe you won't get any clients. Who knows? Depends on the niche. Depends on the YouTuber. Depends on many, many things. But doing that is quite a big, you know, pain basically. However, there are other options, but a lot of these options you need to pay for, unfortunately. So that is the way to do it manually. I'm happy to do it that way because I just go through, I see a YouTuber I like, I think, oh, they might benefit from that. I'll give them a shout and let them know. But in this case, what you can also do is you can go to this thing called Modash. Now Modash is basically a way to find out all the influencers in your niche or in that category, and it's great, but the only thing is that you get a 14-day trial, and in that 14-day you can only export a few of them, And then after that, if you look at the upgrade options, I'm not really going to tell you much about this software, because if you look at the upgrade options, your essentials one is $120 a month just to start out. So, and that's absolutely crazy. Now that's great. If you've got a huge business and you want to contact influencers to market your product, then that's what you would be using, something like this. But in our case, that's not what we're doing. We're starting a small business, a little side hustle, so to speak, to help YouTubers out and at the same time as make us some money. So there's another option as well, which is this one, which is Talent Sheets. Now, Talent Sheets is a similar idea to Modash, but what happens on this one is that when you're going through the menu, you click on your YouTuber and it will automatically then gain the information from whatever's on that YouTube channel, and it will put it into a spreadsheet for you. So it's not quite as good as Modash, in the sense that Modash you can actually put in a niche, for instance, and you can hit search and get all of the influencers in that search. In this one, you would have to have the video up on YouTube, or like, you know, the list of videos, so to speak. You could search your niche and you can go, like, it would basically come up with what's newest or whatever, you know, or you could title it by how many there is, or the longest videos, or whatever you want to do, and you would click on that person and it would automatically use the attachment that's there to automatically download that information to a spreadsheet. So it's a great piece of software that makes it quicker than doing it all manually, but it's not quite the same as the Modash. But then you're not paying $120 a month either. With this one, you only have to pay $59 because it's an AppSumo deal, and that's available until it goes, basically. So depending on when you're watching this video, you may still get this if you want to. So if you do want to get that software, feel free to use the link in the comments below, and then that way that will get you that deal for $59. That is a lifetime deal, and then you can basically get as many YouTubers or as many information as you want that will come in a spreadsheet. You can then take those emails and the names, you can put it through your GMS, and therefore you can call the person by name. You can add something personal about them if you want to, because you can do that as well in GMS, and then you can send them out that email, and hopefully you can get some clients from it. So there you are, that's it for this video. Hopefully that gives you an idea of how you can use ChatGPT and subtitling to be able to make a little bit of money on the side if you fancy going down that route. Thank you very much for joining me. We're going to have more videos about how to make money in the YouTube world coming up soon, using different AI softwares and that kind of stuff. So make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye for now.